AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Dari Nowkhah, 30 minutes from right now. Talk some LSU baseball with Mikey Matuk next hour. Tigers fall for the first time this year, losing to McNeese 7-6. Greg Lehman on the text line said you have to do the midweek game bit, please. I don't know, Greg. Is it tired? The midweek game bit, is it tired, Muse? I mean, it's been like 10 years now.
I was about to say, I think it's run its course. I don't know if I'd use tired. I think people get it. Let me rephrase that. I think the majority of people get. I think the people who want to get it, get it.
Yeah. I don't think everyone gets it. There's still people, some of them host a show on this station in the morning who still insist the importance of midweek games. Just missing the point altogether. Anyway. I don't know if I have the energy to rant about a midweek loss. I'm gonna save that energy for something else. That's what I'm gonna do.
Like Mickey Loomis.
Yes. Now
that's a rant that doesn't run its course.
That's not run its course. I still can't believe we are the only people. This has got to be the only show, only media outlet that continues to play and reference the Ellen Moore bite.
Ellen Moore.
At the introductory press conference, she literally called the man Ellen.
Ellen Moore.
How does everyone just gloss over that? Can anyone explain that to me? And she's a dear lady. And she's obviously very bright and brilliant and wonderful and lots of amazing things. She called him Ellen.
Ellen Moore.
She called the new head coach by the wrong name, and a woman's name at that. And everybody was like, yeah, I didn't hear that, did I? Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And nobody talks about it.
Ellen Moore.
I think they were just like, we'll let Moscona take the hit for this one. I mean,
I'm thrilled to do it.
Yeah, I know.
What are you talking about? That's manna from talk radio heaven.
It is.
She called him Ellen. I get to say, Ellen, we get to do this forever. That never goes away.
It doesn't.
It's Todd Peterson. I mean, it's
Ted Peterson.
I've been doing this show for 16 years. How many of those we got?
At least 2.
You're looking at the button bar. How many are over there? Murray had a good run.
Cartwright.
Yep. Bury that one. I mean, Alden ain't been here in a minute.
Vacilunas.
The Travis Kelce lookalike and Vacilunas.
And that's one we barely pull out ever. That was just a moment in time, really, with Mad Dog.
Man, if I ever get the opportunity to play that, though, I'm playing it. It's so awesome.
I forgot about it until we played it a couple of weeks ago. What? Tell me you watch no New Orleans sports without telling me you watch no New Orleans sports. Mad Dog calls him Vacilunas. Nailed it, Mad Dog. Way to go.
The Travis Kelce lookalike in Vasalunas.
It's just not even close.
It's close.
I don't know, man.
Valanciunas, Vasalunas.
All right, it's close.
It's close.
Okay,
It's close.
okay.
It's close. Not nearly close enough.
For that, we thank you, Mad Dog.
Yeah. They just brushed over Ellen Moore. Everyone that covers the Saints. Did anybody? You see what Greg did? He just derailed us.
I know.
Here. I was going to talk about Wyatt Teller. Did anybody talk about that? Anybody?
And not that I saw of. Not that I saw. I can remember you coming in and be like, "What did Gail like? What happened at the press conference?" And the first thing I said was, "Gail called Kellen Ellen."
That's
the first thing out of my mouth.
I mean, I missed the press conference. I think it was at like a client lunch or something, which happens a lot. And so all these press conferences always at noon.
Right.
And I was like, all right, Buse, what happened? Well, she called Kellen Ellen.
Ellen Moore.
The first thing I said.
I just don't get it. Like, how does nobody else? I mean, like on remember when Steve Levy was on Sports Center and he was talking about the bulging disc but said bulging?
Yeah.
Like some of those things, or Charlie Steiner, the Francis Scott off key, like some of those things you just never, they're hilarious forever.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious forever moment. And I'm like the only one who talks about it. Why? I'm not the only one on an island thinking that's hilarious, am I?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty funny.
Speak up, Paulie. You don't ever say anything. So when you speak, I tend to pay attention.
I think it's pretty funny.
Paul's a diehard Saints fan. He's got a giant fleur-de-lis in the back glass of his truck.
Ellen Moore.
I mean, I'm out here wearing DeMario Davis armbands at the Super Bowl. We can love the Saints and acknowledge that's objectively hilarious.
Ellen Moore.
Ellen. All right. I want to talk about Wyatt Teller. I don't have time now. So I'll do that in the next segment. We're brought to you by Parish Construction Roofing. In the meantime, I'll talk about how about if Louis Riddick tells us why the Saints would love to have Jordan Love? How about that? That'll be something sportsy. Here you go. Hit it.
I'm going to say Jeremiah Love. New Orleans is going, are you nuts? You think we're going to pass that dude up? We wouldn't love to have Tyler Shuck turn around handing the ball to him? Of course we would. But Jeremiah's the dude. You know how running backs go, right? You draft running backs in the top 10 when they give you Jahmyr Gibbs type return on investment. And that's what Jeremiah Love's going to give you in a bigger package. Wow. Not as outright raw fast as Jahmyr, but these are the kind of guys that you draft at running back in the first 10 picks and you don't look back.
Hard pass. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. I just had to do something sportsy so people who came and leave this segment, they're like, you just wasted all this time. No, I didn't. I just let you hear Louis Riddick talk about real sports, getting these takes off. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing, ParishBuilt.com. Shout out to my Uncle Mike Moscona, lives down there in Kennebra, called Parish. He didn't even call me. He didn't even call me to set up an inspection for him. He just called the parish office and he texted me and said, hey man, got Zach coming out to the house on Friday. Zach's awesome. So shout out to Zach. And shout out to Parish Construction Roofing. Repairs, replacements, commercial, residential. And by the way, you can win $25,000. All you got to do is go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Hit the banner. Paul, did that thing not pop up on your homepage or did you just X out of it? You X'd out of it? Okay. You X'd out of it? Paul said Mike isn't.
It timed out.
Okay. So when you go to the website, it'll pop up on the homepage. You'll see it. There it is. You pop up on the homepage. Giving away $25,000. Like for true. Somebody's going to win $25,000 cash. All you got to do is sign up for a free, no obligation roofing inspection. You don't have to buy anything. Just got to let us inspect your roof. That's it. Maybe your roof's brand new. Maybe you don't have any damage. I hope that's the case for you. But you will have a full inspection, dated, everything. Pictures, all of it for your records. So if you ever have damage, storm comes or anything like that, you can cross-reference it with this inspection you got on this date. Just go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction Roofing. Okay. I do want to talk about Wyatt Teller when we come back. Browns offensive lineman hitting free agency. Is that a guy the Saints should pursue? We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
We are brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. They're everywhere. And just plant something, y'all. How about rose bushes? You know how beautiful that is? Those are timeless, too. Rose bushes are amazing. Go to Clegg's, buy some rose bushes, plant them in your yard, watch them bloom, enjoy them for generations. It's a Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Not just rose bushes, but everything. They got the hanging fern baskets. They've got Johnny Naylor seeds. Just plant something, y'all. The tropical hibiscus. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Soil, mulch, bag, bulk. They got it all. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Ed sent you to Clegg's Nursery. River Parish Contractors, they're here. They're in reserve. They do work here. Actually, River Parish Contractors serves businesses from Baton Rouge to Chalmette. So when we say they're like an hour from everywhere, it's kind of what it is. I mean, no matter where you are, you can get there within an hour. River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. And because they're local, they do work locally. Like, they're not interested in doing work in California or San Antonio or anywhere else. They want to do work here. It's River Parish Contractors. And one of the things also is they know who they are, right? There are some mega contractors that do these $100 million jobs. That's not River Parish Contractors. So you want to focus on it's a $15 million job. River Parish Contractors, they'll nail it for you. They fabricate and install themselves, so it's easier on the engineers. Significant cost savings as well because of taxes. It's River Parish Contractors. You got to know them if you don't already. rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Dari Nowkhah in 15 minutes. Believe it or not, some SEC schools already getting started this week with spring football. Talk about that with Dari in a bit. Or maybe we'll just ask Dari stories about when he was a student at Oklahoma and stormed the field and other stuff like that. We'll go back. We'll throw it back to late 90s Dari Nowkhah as a student at OU. You never know where we'll go when Dari's here. There seems to be a consensus that New Orleans is going to sign an interior offensive lineman in free agency. They could address that in the draft and may still, but the Saints have money to spend, and one of the most glaring, obvious needs that they are likely to address in free agency is the interior of the offensive line. Quickly, we know like the last 2 years they've drafted their bookend tackles with Tale Asifuaga, Kelvin Banks. You've got Eric McCoy coming off of injury. You got Cesar Ruiz. You thought you had your left guard with Trevor Penning. Obviously, that didn't work. He's now a Los Angeles Charger. Dylan Raduns was there this year. And so you're looking for a better, higher ceiling option. And so we've gone through some of those options because it's actually a really good year to need an interior offensive lineman. Just when you look at free agents this year, the free agents that are available. Braden Smith is probably at the top of that list. Bitonio from the Browns. Wyatt Teller, who we're going to talk about in a second. Kevin Zeitler, Isaac Seumalo. A lot of these folks, a lot of these guys that we've talked about over these past days and weeks as we've looked at some of these guys that are available. Well, I want to talk about Wyatt Teller because the Cleveland Browns are actually set to lose all 5 starting offensive linemen in free agency. Among them is Ethan Posick, incidentally, former LSU Tiger, who is center, but coming off a ruptured Achilles late in the season. Really disappointing for Ethan. Saw him not long ago. He lives here in the offseason. When he was at LSU, he met a girl, married his wife, and they live here in Baton Rouge in the offseason. Lives and trains here in Baton Rouge. And great dude. I pull for him all the time. Bummed about his injury, but looks like he's overcoming it, getting healthy. But Wyatt Teller is an interesting one because you're starting to see some of the projections about Teller maybe being a target for New Orleans. So far, we've already talked about 2 pending free agent interior offensive linemen and how they may fit New Orleans. One is David Edwards of the Buffalo Bills, and you talk about a guy that's approaching 30 years old and who is David Edwards is almost 29. He's been a really productive player in Buffalo. He's going to be expensive. And then we talked about Ed Ingram, former LSU Tiger, who was drafted by Minnesota. His career didn't go great in Minnesota. Spent this year in Houston with the Texans after Minnesota traded him for a 6th-round pick. And he ended up having a career year for the Texans and now is set to hit free agency. And then there's a guy like Wyatt Teller. So Teller is interesting because of the other two guys I mentioned, and this isn't by accident. I'm giving you an illustration of how much of a scale there is, sort of a sliding scale from these free agent guards, right? So David Edwards is 29 years old, who has been a really consistent starter. But if you're going to give him a multi-year deal, you're talking about a guy it'll bleed into his early 30s. And so you wonder, are you paying a guy for what he has been or what he will be? I really like Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram's 27 years old. When you look at a projected deal, 3 years, roughly $30 million is what the market value is suggesting from Spotrac for a guy like Ed Ingram, who is coming off the best season of his career and could be ascending still in his mid-late 20s at 27 years old. And then you look at a guy like Wyatt Teller. And Teller has been at times in his career a really, really good offensive lineman. But he is 31 years old already, 7-year NFL vet, and at times has been a really high-end player. As a matter of fact, this is what Kevin Stefanski said back, this was now 5 years ago, but when Teller was in his prime 5 years ago, this was what Kevin Stefanski, who was the coach of the Browns at the time, said about Wyatt Teller.
Tenacious, physical football player, can oftentimes is playing through the echo of the whistle. So he brings certainly a physicality to that group. A lot of teams have that guy that plays a style, and if you're fortunate, you have multiple versions of that player. It's a physical football game, and to be able to have guys, particularly along the offensive and defensive line, like we do, that play a physical brand of football, I think it just plays into who we are as a team. So Wyatt is certainly part of that.
Now, that guy 5 years ago was awesome. He's one of the best guards in football. That guy now, you can argue, isn't the same guy. See, Wyatt Teller at 31 is coming off a season in 2025 when he played in 13 games. That's the fewest of his career, or the lowest since the COVID year, I should say. And he battled ankle and calf injuries all season. And again, he's 31. He'll turn 32 during the season next year. And when you look at PFF, he had a career low pass block grade at 53.1. When you go look at Wyatt Teller's career, the previous low was 10 points higher at 63.1, and that was last year. So you have seen now his PFF grades blocking from 2021. Remember what that comment Stefanski just made, where he was at a 70, then a 67.9, 67.3, 63.1, 53.1. You could see a very clear decline over the last 4 years, certainly the last 3. And then this year, played the fewest amount of games since the COVID year and battled injuries. So you're talking about a guy now that's getting older and declining. Do you really want to invest in that player? As we've talked about with these contracts, and we look at the market value that Spotrac puts up, when you look at what they project, it's a 3-year, $30.5 million contract is the market value projection for Wyatt Teller. So that averages out to about $10.2 million per year. I look and I go, that's a comparable number, by the way, to what they were projecting for Ed Ingram. And so I look and say, okay, do you want to spend more than that for David Edwards, who's a proven player, but is an older player that could be entering that phase of his career where you start to decline? Like, are you buying at the top is maybe a way of saying that. Are you buying at the top of the market? With Teller, you'll spend a little less, but it feels like you're on the it doesn't. You are on the decline. With Ingram, he'd cost less than Edwards, about the same as Teller, and they might be on about the same plane. But Edwards, while Ingram feels like he's ascending, whereas Teller feels like he's on the backside of his career. So they might, again, be on the same plane financially with their worth and maybe their productivity. But one guy is 27 and feels like he's ascending, coming into his prime, and the other is at 31, kind of on the backside, declining. Keep trying not to look at this just through like a purple and gold lens. And, if you could go out there and find one of the best offensive guards in free agency, and you're willing to spend whatever it takes to get the best offensive guard in free agency, whoever the front office may determine that person is, great. I mean, that'd be outstanding. But if you're trying to find a spot that, maybe looks more like you're looking for a great player where you're also going to get great value, I keep coming back to Ed Ingram as maybe that guy. And it is a calculated risk, certainly, because the solid year that he just had could very well be a one-off. I mean, it may come to pass that that's the case, that it's a one-off, and he never has another season like he just did in Houston. Or maybe that was the start of something really good for Ed Ingram. I'm open to be convinced otherwise. I can't sit here and tell you that I'm bullish on this to say, like, I'm pounding the table, going to bat for this guy. I'm just telling you, as I've prepped for these conversations, you start to really have the thought about what would make a lot of sense, what would fit stylistically, great value, good player, all the things. I mean, Ed Ingram really does continue to come back to me and seem like that would be the best option. Free agency is a few weeks away, start of the league year in the NFL, and feels like the Saints are going to be in the market for a free agent guard. And, maybe they go after a guy like Wyatt Teller. Maybe it's David Edwards. Braden Smith is probably the guy that's going to be at the top of the market. Spotrac projects his average annual value at $13.5 million. So, that's probably the guy that's going to be at the top of the market this year. But man, it looks to me like it's crystallizing that they should really kick the tires on Ed Ingram, and he may very well be the best guy, the best option for him. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Check them out, Rouse's.com, or get to their Facebook page. You can always see specials and different things that they have going on over at Rouse's. Of course, Fridays in Lent, they got the hot seafood bar. So if you want to go get your fried or boiled seafood on a Friday in Lent, you can always pop into Rouse's, grab and go. And, of course, they've got boiled crawfish every single day at every Rouse's location. So I encourage you to get by Rouse's. Remember, one of the great things are the crawfish are boiled in-house every day, and they're bagged and tagged already. So you just walk on into Rouse's, go up to the hot and boiled kiosk, grab your crawfish, your corn and potatoes, boom, hit the register, and you're on your way. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. All right, y'all, it's AFR. We are glad to have you aboard with us here on this Hump Day edition, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Quick break. Dari Nowkhah is here next. Musa do Tigers and the Pros in about 15 minutes. Ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you've never had your hormone levels checked, it's time. Men, women, young, old, it's less about your age. It's more about how you feel. And one of the things that I've learned through my journey with hormone therapy is sometimes you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. Because the way we feel just becomes normal. It's just how we feel. You just wake up every day and you feel a certain way. And that just becomes your reality. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. You can maximize your productivity in a given day. You can feel that youthful vitality again. Hormone replacement therapy is safe. It's affordable. It's at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. So learn more at yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com. One more time, yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Missouri's going to start spring practice on Friday because, well, I don't know why. Maybe Dari Nowkhah knows. We'll ask him. Dari, what up, man?
What's up, man? Good to hear you, brother.
It's our pleasure. What is Drink doing starting spring practice when there's still ice on the ground in Missouri? What's he doing?
You know what? I don't know how many times you could legitimately start a sentence with "What is Drink doing?" by,
Okay.
Fill in the blank. But no, honest to goodness, zero earthly idea why he would be doing that. No, that would be the last place you would want to start this early.
Right. Like most of those baseball programs in the Midwest are like going on the Southern U.S. tour while their fields thaw out, and Drink's up there like, let's get nuts, man. Are they gonna be any good next year?
Good question. I have a hard time thinking he's going to have a team that's just going to fall, off the face of the earth. I would suspect they'd be okay. They're going to have to not, deal with. They're going to have to deal with not having 6 straight home games to start the season,
right.
Which was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what are we looking at? Austin Simmons is probably being their starting quarterback. I'm he's going to be able to run the football. I mean, that's certainly something that I would expect, and I'm sure that they will have the typical toughness on defense. I haven't dove headfirst into their roster, but I certainly would expect kind of a similar type of Missouri football team that runs and plays tough on the defensive side. And if Austin Simmons is what Ole Miss thought he was, then sure. Then I think they could be a dangerous team.
Okay, we've met the quota for...
And their schedule's got to be tougher than it was last year.
All right, we've met the quota plus some for Missouri talk. We can move on and never come back to them again. That was just a very natural segue. But I like the Ole Miss segue because, Dari, here in Baton Rouge, naturally, Ole Miss folks are spending a lot of time focusing on what LSU is doing. I'm not so sure how interested LSU folks are going to be in what Ole Miss is going to be, except for the fact that they play week 3. Trinidad Chambliss is back. I'm curious, how coaching matters, right? Coaching matters in college football. No one can deny that. You take Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss away, it's got to matter. I think my big question is how much does it matter? What do you think?
We'll find out. I mean, Pete Golding identified pretty quickly the coordinator that he wanted. Bringing the guy over from East Carolina, plays a very similar style of offense to what I think he thinks his personnel has. And a similar style of offense to what Trinidad Chambliss has, quite frankly, mastered. Great shape in the run game again with Q1 Lacey. I think they're going to be fine on the offensive line. And then, we saw the way I thought at times that defense really stepped up with Pete Golding as the head coach. I think they kind of answered that call to a degree, except for late in that, the game that knocked them out of the playoff. But I think the way they respond to Pete Golding is significant. I think having Chambliss back is significant. I think having that chip has not just disappeared from their shoulder because the season ended and a new one will start. I think this is just kind of the attitude that team has. And I think Ole Miss is a top 10 team. I think they're going to be really, really good. And that week 3 in Oxford is going to be unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what tickets are going to go for or what they're already going for, but I can only imagine the emotion in that place at Vaught Hemingway.
Are you going to go?
No, man. I'll be in studio here. Yeah, but it's funny because, we were at the first playoff game in Oxford. So, the Tulane game, and we did our pregame shows from the Grove, and there were signs everywhere. Everywhere. Lane, it was right before Christmas, so Lane Kiffin, you heard ho, 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 because
that's pretty good.
Everywhere you'd go, you'd see H-O-E, H-O-E, H-O-E.
Yeah.
Pictures of Lane. And then at the same time, I had multiple Ole Miss fans say, hey, do us a favor. Can you stop talking about Lane? We're over it. over him. We're past him. We'll find out how much over him they are, come week 3.
Really? I mean, my goodness. He's at ESPN Dari. It's like, Dari, my show has started to do like exponential numbers. I think it's just because I took on a new fan base. Just Ole Miss watches every day now too.
Sure.
It's been amazing. I welcome them all. Please keep coming back every day.
And I think that the more that they play pissed, honestly, and the more that they feel, some sense of anger and irritation even on the field, I think that's a good thing. I wouldn't, necessarily want to move past it just yet. A lot of those guys played for Lane.
How do you think year one's going to go for Lane in Baton Rouge?
Probably pretty well. That's the thing is people can say whatever they want about him. He's made LSU public enemy number 1, right? So like on a daily basis, you now get to cover the evil empire.
Yes.
Around the SEC, which probably comes with, a little bit of fun, but they're going to be fine. They've got a great quarterback. He'll institute his offense incredibly quickly, I would suspect. There's no shortage of talent. He's done well in the portal. They'll be good. Frankly, they'll be as good as they probably should have been the last 2 or 3 years with Brian Kelly. And I would expect them to be near the top of that league when we get into November of next year.
Sorry, Dari. I don't know if you've how well you got to know Kelly during his time in Baton Rouge or how much you talked to him, but are you in any way surprised that he's not coaching?
That's a great question. I didn't know him well. I actually, when he was at Notre Dame, I went up there in 2010 and for ESPN, and I covered their spring game, and I actually got to know him then, but I probably talked to him 5 times after that.
Okay.
I don't really have a good feel for it, but I would be stunned if he's not coaching in 27 for sure.
Okay. I'm curious. You have people in the industry what they think about Kelly, and if he's one of those from a different era who maybe is hanging up the whistle. Like the path of Bob Stoops or Urban Meyer, who just did it a certain way for a long time and struggled to adjust to the new way. Dabo, I think, is dealing with that right now as well. It'll be really interesting to see.
Don't you think, though, Matt, that that's not going to be how he wants to end it? He's very, 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 very prideful. Like, Stoops stepped out in a great place, right? He always wanted to win more than one national title, and I think most people thought he would. But he left something in a way that he wanted to leave it, as he would say, in a good way, right? I think Brian Kelly hasn't done that, and I would suspect that he will get an opportunity. Somebody will give him an opportunity to coach, and I don't think he's done.
Okay. That'd be fascinating to see. Dari Nowkhah is with us at ESPN Dari. Make sure you give him a follow. When spring practice begins, I think we're focusing obviously naturally deeply on LSU. There's so many different storylines with Kiffin and then with just the whole new roster. Is there another team in the league that you look at that for whatever reason you find is going to be really a fascinating watch throughout spring?
I do, because there are so many coaching changes. So whether that's Auburn and Byram Brown running an offense, in the SEC, or it's John Summerall, what does Florida look like with a transfer quarterback in Aaron Philo that hasn't really had any significant snaps taken, and you look at what they could be offensively, even though they're loaded with talent down there. I certainly think, how quickly does Kentucky adjust to what Will Stein wants to do, which is going to look completely different than what they've ever done. I think you just kind of start looking around the places with new coaching staffs, and I think those kind of become the most interesting ones, right? What does Vanderbilt do at quarterback? Are they going to start a true freshman, who committed there after decommitting from Georgia? So I think a lot of it, when you get to spring, I think, Matt, most of us, and certainly I think most of your listeners, and I know most of mine, are going to put a heavy focus on the quarterbacks, because quarterbacks and new coaches. And I think that's always going to create a lot of intrigue in spring ball.
Of course, for those that don't know, Dari, in addition to SEC Network, does daily radio there in Oklahoma. What is the skinny on Boomer Sooner coming off the a playoff season this past year?
Yeah, a lot of optimism. A lot of defensive pieces came back. They found out yesterday Owen Heineke was not going to be able to come back, and he's just going to go to the draft. But I think you could be looking at the best linebacker duo in the SEC with Kip Lewis and Cole Sullivan, who they got from Michigan, and they love that kid. Parker Livingston from Texas, Trell Harris from Virginia. helping, add something to a wide receiver core. Isaiah Satania's back, and he was a weapon. They got 3 tight ends that are all better than any that they had last season, all through the portal. So I think there's a lot of optimism there. BB got him to the playoff finally, and the staff is pretty much still intact. And minor changes, tight end coach, running back coach, but Jason Witten comes in as the tight ends coach, which has got everybody excited. So I think all in all, I think a playoff spot at the minimum is what people would expect there.
You buying Texas as a contender?
Sure. Yeah, I am. I'm, again, like Arch has incredible weapons. I know he lost Livingston, and they seem to be just fine with that. Cam Coleman, Arch Manning and Cam Coleman's a pretty scary duo right there. And again, talent all over the board there. If Texas isn't in the playoff, that's their own undoing. I'm certainly buying what they should be. I mean, I think their ceiling is really high.
I got 2 more things for you. Not necessarily specifically related to teams in the SEC, but what do you think about all the college football playoff expansion being put off at least another year? Do you have a target that you think is right as far as number or structure?
I mean, my personal preference is 16 teams, no buys, 2 rounds of home games. Having covered home games at Ohio State, at Ole Miss, I want more home games. I want more. They are so special. They are just, you cannot beat it. Whether it was 20 degrees in Columbus 2 years ago for the Tennessee game, we had such a damn blast up there. It was such an incredible experience to be a part of. Getting to, go through the Grove before a home game for Ole Miss. I think we need 2 rounds of home games. I'm not a believer in buys. I think teams are better when they just continue playing. So, and I think the buy records have shown that out. Indiana, the one exception, obviously. So that would be my dream is 16 teams, 2 rounds of buys. 2 rounds of home games. Do you think? Ideally.
Do you think? And here on the home games. Oh my God! Like what are we doing? I mean, they got. We all know what it is. It's money and it's TV, and they got to make it make sense financially. And I think you're right. I think they're going to figure that out, and we'll end up going that direction. The other thing is we saw here today, Dari, the NCAA release a memo basically threatening for schools that tamper and they can prove it. This is all rooted in Dabo, reading the receipts against Pete Golding and Austin Thomas and the gang, which was, that was objectively hilarious. But
it really was hilarious.
I mean, Dari, but for any fan base that's pointing the finger, I say, but by the grace of God, there go I. I mean, that could have been any of us, right? I mean, it's just anybody that wants to get up there and read receipts. But what do you think that the NCAA will have any recourse to actually sink their teeth into punishing programs? Because it just feels like they've lost that whole that oversight.
I mean, so essentially, you're saying if the NCAA tries to punish a program, that program then sues the NCAA. They ask for an injunction, the same way that all these players have tried to do.
Exactly.
I mean, it's until we. I am not a fan of big government, and I'm not a fan of government involvement. But I do think that there's a time and a place that it's going to need to happen in college football if we really want the NCAA to have any authority to enforce anything. And until then, I certainly believe they'll try to enforce it. But you have no idea from one judge to another, from one state to another, what a court is going to overrule from the NCAA. So it's hard to have a lot of faith that they'll be able to do it in the current landscape until there's some oversight that says the NCAA is going to get final say. I don't have a lot of faith in that organization when it comes to enforcing anything.
Does Missouri still have rocks in their end zone? Can we get rid of that and get like a real stadium if you're going to be in the SEC?
I know. You're good enough now. You've had a lot of double-digit win seasons in this league. Tear down Furrow Field. Let's do something else. I hear you.
I mean, give me something respectable. What are we doing here, Missouri?
How about a Como Dome? Give me 40,000, 50,000 seats in a dome. Then you're not a miserable place to go play in November. That'd be great.
Idaho figured that out. I mean, they got a dome in the middle of Idaho. I mean, let's
the Kibbe Dome.
Yeah, let's get this thing done.
Fargo Dome. Kibbe Dome. We got Northern Iowa's got a dome. We got domes.
We can
now,
do
we don't
it.
have 50,000, 60,000 seat domes.
I think they can figure it out. Look, they got enough money there in Missouri. They're really proud of their J school, as I think we all well know, and they got money in Missouri.
Yeah.
They figured this out. Let's do this thing.
Don't you? Over the years, have you ever started to dislike Missouri just because of journalists that brag about going to Missouri? I don't know what you, but come on, shut up. You are no further along than I am or anybody else is, so just shut up. Missouri.
Dari, I kind of yes. By the way, I do, and I'm an LSU Manship School alum, which is one of the oldest accredited J schools in the country. And look around, Dari. I mean, Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears, Todd Walker, Ben McDonald. There's LSU dudes all over ESPN, all these networks, and not only that, but then you got a lot of the ladies. Aaliyah Andrews is doing great stuff at MLB Network. I mean, what are we talking about here? You could be from anywhere.
Man, you guys are killing it. I'm sitting here trying to think of OU people like me. Dusty Dvorak, Stacey Dales. I think that's about the end of it. That's all I got. Yeah.
I mean, we can keep going too, man. I mean, there's a.
Oh, I know. I worked with a million of them.
The LSU lineage is strong in this. I mean, I can even go outside of just the LSU family and talk about our guy David Hellman doing stuff with Fox and who else am I missing? I'm missing a bunch. But Chandler Rome, who's the beat writer for the Houston Astros there. What's
LSU?
Anyway, there's a ton. There's a ton. Anyway, all right.
You don't have to go to Missouri or Syracuse. You can't, or Northwestern. You can go elsewhere and be just fine.
Right. Syracuse, Northwestern, Missouri, North Carolina. All of them. They think that they're God's gift. I got news. What are you all doing? Oh, you got Mike Greenberg. Greeny's great. He's great at a tease. Whatever. All right, you got one. Give me Dari Nowkhah. That's what I want. All right, man. Thanks for the time. We got to run. We'll see you.
All right, Matt. Good to talk to you, bro.
Thanks, man. Always. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, 1hourbr.com. Yeah, thanks to Brian, who just texted me. Booger. Forgot about Booger. Come on now. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001. Big yellow vans and trucks, giant clock on the side, 752-0001, 752-0001. Whether it's 87 like it was a week ago, or whether it's 32 like it was 2 nights ago, you need River City's 1 Hour Air. Take care of your AC or your heater if something's malfunctioning, not keeping up like it should. You want the best. You want River City's 1 Hour Air. They got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews than the next closest competitor. So it's really easy. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. We always say it, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. They save you time. They save you money. They're the best. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Sports Center coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. Mikey Matuk here in about 25 minutes or so. Talk a little LSU baseball as the Tigers drop their first game of the season. First loss after 16 consecutive wins dating back to the regional last year. Talk about it with former Tiger great coming up in about 25 minutes or so. Right now, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
By the way, I was laughing yesterday. You can't hear me when I'm on the road because you popped me down because of the echo.
Mm-hmm.
You said a new Tiger in the pro yesterday about something.
Oh, did I?
Who was it? It was
Chase Shorts.
Chase Shorts, yeah.
Chase Shorts.
Yo, he's a new Tiger in the pro. Me and Alondra laugh our T-Heinies off of you.
You like that?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
Because I knew what you were saying because you were going singular for Tiger because he's a new Tiger. But it's your new Tiger in the pros.
Yeah.
You said a new Tiger in the pro.
I probably just left off the S.
No, that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is it probably wasn't intentional. I didn't think to be like, oh, singular. Not on pros, at least. Anyway.
That's what you did.
Wait, what?
That's what you did.
Yeah, I know that.
A new Tiger in the pro.
Paul Skeens was on the bump today.
Your family.
For the Pirates. Exactly. Yes. Reigning Cy Young Award winner, 2 1/3, gave up a hit and a run, walked 4, also struck out 4 against the Braves, and he's off and running. He'll be pretty good. Next stop for him is the World Baseball Classic for Team USA. Trey Morgan was in the lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays earlier today. He went 0 for 2. Slow start for his spring, but he'll bounce back. Alex Bregman now at the Cubbies. No. 1 for 2 with a single, 167 for Bregman. He will also be partaking in the World Baseball Classic. Jaden Hill on the bump for the Rockies. Rough go of it, did not record an out. 2 hits, a walk, and 4 earned runs. Trendon Watford, 12 points in 15 minutes off the bench. 4 boards, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Minutes really starting to increase there. And then Naz Reid is back from his shoulder soreness. Played 23 minutes, 8 points, and 3 boards for Naz.
Should have stayed.
Timberwolves got the win. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. And now, also, on top of shutters, they also do shades. Check them out, ReliefWindows.com. Go to the website, hit the Shades tab there at the top. You can learn more. You can see pictures. I always encourage you to go to their showroom as well, which is gorgeous. On Airline Highway in Prairieville, if you go south on Airline Highway into Prairieville, you cross Highway 42, quarter mile on the right, can't miss it. These shades are awesome. You want like blackout shades that'll climate control and control the lighting in your room as well, whatever room it is. Den, if you're watching TV, you want to get rid of that glare. These custom fabric roller shades are awesome. They're beautiful. They're ornate, and they're at Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. They do shutters too, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, SportsCenter's coming up. We need to caught up on national headlines. When we come back, yesterday we talked about Kirk Cousins. Why, if I'm the Saints, I'm kicking the tires there to make him a backup. We got odds on where Kirk Cousins is going to land.
After further review.
If you're like Muse and you're about to pop the question in a week or two, you should go to Lee Michaels. It's matrimony. LMFJ.com is the website. It just shakes his head. LMFJ.com. For Lee Michaels, fine jewelry. In all seriousness, though, if you are thinking about popping the question, nobody has a better selection of beautiful diamond engagement rings. And you will one thing that you will never, ever find in the case at Lee Michaels is a lab or man-made diamond. Scott goes all over the world. He goes to India, to the finest diamond mines in the world, to buy diamonds, to bring them back here. So you have the absolute best selection. Because he's buying for 9 stores, he gets great prices, which he can then pass along to you. It's why we often talk about the difference between, with Lee Michaels sort of being the just right. The big box stores tend to be impersonal, cookie cutter. If you go to boutiques, the selection isn't great and you're going to overpay. Lee Michaels is perfect. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.